good. And we pray we're ever mindful of those who are less fortunate, and that as we have opportunity that you would use us. We pray for the rescue mission as they get ready for their Thanksgiving dinner to reach out to the less fortunate, and for the Hope Center. And we thank you for them and for their tireless efforts as they continue to also reach out for the less fortunate. We pray for all the homeless, and that they would find comfort and love. And we thank you for, Lord, all the people who have been displaced by the fire. And we just thank you for all those who have opened up their homes and have made a way, and the adjustments that were made. And Lord, we just pray that you would continue to give us wisdom and show us how to face these issues and problems that are coming up. We pray for supernatural wisdom, Father, over the agenda tonight, and for our city council, and for your supernatural provision, that you would continue to bless our city as we continue to pray and turn from our evil ways, and be humble and pray that you heal our land. We love you, we praise you, we thank you, in Jesus.
Mr. Mayor, that was the last speaker on that item.
Okay, thank you. We're going to close public communication at this time. Looking for a motion to accept the consent calendar.
Mr. Mayor, I do have a speaker for item number 2 on the consent calendar.
Okay.
Good evening, Council. I wanted to speak on this item. I am on the Parks Commission. I understand the provenance is not there for the item. However, it is a gorgeous item and it's in good shape, and I think it would look very nice in the lot home. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more speakers?
That is the only speaker that I have for consent calendar.
Looking for a motion to approve consent calendar.
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Motion carries.
Moving on to regular business, item number 7, replacement of Oroville Fire Department Engine 2 motor.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Vice Mayor. What this is just a request to purchase a refurbished motor for OFD's engine number 2. I don't want to go through the report in front of you, but essentially what it comes down to is the motor was blown, the engine went to Cummings down in Sacramento, and it was gone through, diagnosed, and it came back that there was essentially dirt in the motor. That wasn't good enough. We went back and forth on why that was there, and it came down to either wear and tear over time of using it or poor maintenance. And what we learned was that the city yard was using, our mechanics were using washed or recycled filters, and ultimately we have now dirt in the motor that's no good. It's going to cost us $47,000 to fix and put a new refurbished motor in there. Now, attached to the report, you have a couple different quotes. The one that we chose is slightly higher, but the reason for that is one of them was to rebuild the motor that's in there. With that, we got without going through this in detail, we got a very small warranty on it, 25,000 miles in 3 months or something to that effect. The remanufactured motor that was like $3,000 more, which is what we're recommending doing, came with a 2-year and 200,000 mile warranty on it. So the fire engine since July has been inoperable. We're not using it. It's sitting down in Sacramento right now waiting to see if we're going to put a new motor in it or remanufactured motor in it. This, like I said, the items, to be exact, $47,996.90. Now that would come out of the Capital Asset Replacement Fund, which has $1,172,892 in it currently. So,
if I could weigh in on this, Council, the maintenance on the engine was adequate and was of good standard. What happened down there is the filters we're talking about are not like you go to the hardware or the parts store and you buy a Fram filter and it's $12.95. There's several $100s each time they do the maintenance on these vehicles. So with the best of intentions, our mechanics were cleaning these filters. Well, you can only clean them so many times. They cleaned them and apparently they weren't doing their job. So the debris got brought into the engine, washed out the rings, and caused this internal problem. It's unfortunate that happened. It was done with the best of intention to save us money. However, it's not a good maintenance technique for this particular piece of equipment, considering its critical nature. You can't have an engine fail on a fire engine responding to an emergency. And so what happened here is unfortunate. We've learned from it. We have changed our policy regarding these things. It's only new filters now. It is expensive, but it's much less expensive than buying a $50,000 motor. The rebuilt motor carries a 90-day warranty. The refurbished motor carries a 2-year warranty. So our staff, best advice would be is to invest our money in the refurbished motor so we have the longer warranty.
Thank you. Do we have any speakers on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I do not have any speakers on this item.
Okay, Councilmember Pittman, please.
Just a quick question. Okay, quick question. The remanufactured motor, and I'm in support of that. That's a rebuilt motor from the factory. Did they ever price for you a brand new motor?
We didn't get a quote for a brand new motor. If the fire department did, these are the only two that the
Right.
battalion chief sent to me, was a rebuild what's in it or remanufactured from Cummings.
Okay.
And with once I saw the warranty on the remanufactured one,
Yeah.
to me that was the option that I
Well,
wanted
and
to
it
take.
would more likely be the same warranty on a brand new one.
Sure.
So
This-
I'm
this-
good with it.
This particular engine is a 2006 engine. It has about 70,000 miles on it right now. If we replace the motor, we'll get at least another 10 years out of this
Right.
piece of equipment. To replace the engine completely would cost you about $500,000.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other comments from the dais? Having none, looking for a motion to accept item number 7.
I motion to accept that number item as identified with the staff's recommendation.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Moving on to item number 8, authorization to award contract for tree pruning services.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. This item is for tree pruning services through an independent contractor throughout the city. Previously this year, we had ran an experiment or a trial period where we trimmed some trees. It was a successful process. Our city arborist was happy with the results from that. Based upon that, we put this out for bid. An RFP was released detailing what the work would be, what was necessary, that it was a prevailing wage job. At the end of the RFP process, we had only received one bid. That bid came from the Tree of Life. It's a local company with a local yard. The Tree of Life contract, there is a mistake in the staff report. It says we're going to have 4 people per day. It's 2 people plus a certified arborist, the supervising certified arborist. That will be out working. The cost is $1,600 a day. Staff is requesting an amount not to exceed $80,000. After speaking with our city arborist, that should take us, by his estimation, through the end of this fiscal year. So with that, we will have somebody out there regularly trimming our trees and pruning them. And the pruning is substantial pruning that's going on and the removal of trees that are dangerous.
Thank you. Do we have any public speakers on this?
Mr. Mayor, I have 2 public speakers. The first public speaker is Bill Spear, and then the cameraman.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council, I was just wanting to also make aware of the mistake that was there, but also I have noticed the tree work that the city has been doing has been a real improvement in safety for our community, getting rid of the replacement policy for the ones that are doing damage to the sidewalks and gutter, and just like to commend the progress that has been being made in a short amount of time. I'm grateful and thankful for the opportunity for Tree of Life to be able to serve the city also. Thank you.
The cameraman?
Good evening, Oroville City Council. I'd just like to quickly comment on item number 8 here. Matter of fact, trees were one of the first things I brought up when I first spoke here at council. I'm glad to see that they're being addressed, and I think we should continue with this service. We've already done some work, and I've seen that's been improvement, but primarily just keep doing this work. Mostly needed, I like to see, is when the tree gets removed and then you can see the stop sign or the street and not, potentially hit another car because you didn't see the stop sign, or you know where you're going because you can read the street sign because it's not obstructed, and it's a general safety issue, and it's a matter of public interest that needs to be addressed, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that was the last speaker for this item.
That closes public comment. Councilmember Pittman, please.
Yeah, just a couple quick comments, because I've received a number of phone calls on this. In particular, there's one little street called La Paz out by Cherokee Road, and the trees in the middle of the road were at 4-foot level. I've actually trimmed them once myself, just so I could drive my vehicle by. So I only indicate that because of the dire nature that we needed to have some work done on our trees, and I realize to take the time to get a crew trained up and hired is probably beyond our capability, and we need to have these taken care of, especially the ones that are in the right of way. And by the way, the work they did out at La Paz looks wonderful. It's really nice to see. So I certainly support this idea, and I have seen a lot of good work done and received a lot of good comments. Thank you.
The labor market right now for people in the tree industry for pruning and removal of trees is very, very competitive and very tight because of the campfire and the tree removal that'll be going on up there. So, part of staff's consideration of this was the fact that this will take us through the end of the fiscal year, which may loosen that market up and make it a little more economical for the city at that point to look more aggressively toward bringing all of this service back in-house.
Yeah. Agree.
Councilmember Hatley.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions on this. First of all, in the staff report, it said it was advertised and posted on the front of City Hall. Where was it advertised? What other advertisement did we do?
Typically, we put them into our Facebook page and we push them out to all of the people through our website, the City Oroville, www.cityoforoville.com.
And that's what we did this time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then I know that when we did the trial run, it was $1,200 a day, and now it's $1,600. I was curious as to what the difference is.
That's a good question. And the reason why it went up from the one to the other is based upon legal advice at the time. Since we weren't entering into a contract, we did not have to pay a prevailing wage rate at that time. Being that we're entering into a contract at this point, we have to pay a prevailing wage, which pushed the price up.
Okay. And then my last question, when I was looking through all this paperwork, I didn't see the term of the contract.
It's an amount not to exceed $80,000. So
I know the amount, but I mean the length of it.
50 days.
Is it a
Well,
1 year?
Well, it would be no more than 50 days, 50 working days. So whenever those days occur, it's going to be, contingent upon weather and things like that. We're not putting like a January 1 through December 30 timeframe on it. It's just when we hit the end of that, the dollar amount that's there. If we want to go any further, we're going to have to come back to council. Now, whether that can take us through the end of this fiscal year or that takes us through all of next calendar year, if it can take us through all of next calendar year, that'll be great, but I don't think it's going to go there. I did talk to our city arborist, and he's estimating that with this amount of money and the number of trees that we have to get done, this will probably take us through the end of the fiscal year based upon weather and available work days.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Goodson.
So my question has to do with our Public Works Department, because it's my understanding that this is a part of their job description. Granted that we don't have the manpower, right? We haven't had the manpower for
Several years. Yes.
Several
Yes,
years. And it was always because we were fiscally not
Yes.
able.
Yeah.
Now we are. So how aggressively, I don't want this to happen year after year after year where we're out contracting out, that then there's a problem and and it's broken, we need to fix it. So how aggressively are we advocating to fill those positions in the Public Works Department?
We are very aggressively recruiting, interviewing, and trying to find people. Right now, the labor market in Butte County and all of California is very, very tight. It's very expensive. It's probably artificially inflated because, especially in this particular area, with the incidents that have occurred around here, the campfire, and the labor pool is just very expensive right now. We are trying to get the individuals in there that we can. I believe also that it's better to hire the right person than just to hire a person. So we are spending our time trying to get the right people into those jobs. We're looking for long-term employees. We are having a difficult time, and I think all employers are, of getting people in the labor market to apply for jobs. It's just, we're down below 4%, which means everybody that is looking for work has found work. So we have to be competitive. I don't think it's in the city's best interest now to immediately turn around, look at our pay scales, jack them up, because once we get into a pay scale, we're stuck there. We don't get to back it off because the labor market becomes more expansive. So we are aggressively looking, trying to fill it, because that would be our plan. The more, as we fill those positions, we'll utilize this contract less and less.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the dais? Having none, looking for a motion to accept or adopt item number 8.
I make a motion that we adopt this item with going into contract with Tree of Life.
I'll second.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to reports, discussions, and correspondence. Council announcements, please. Councilmember Draper.
Hey, November 7th, I attended the Nature Center fundraiser dinner at Southside Community Center. November 11th, the Veterans Day Parade. November 12th, I attended the Chico City Council meeting. It was interesting to see the time frame and the procedures that they'll be following for doing their districting, since we're going to be in that same process before long. November 18th, I attended the Butte County Homeless Continuum of Care meeting in Chico, and they had 6 positions that became open, and they voted to fill those spots. We're supposed to find out tomorrow which individuals were elected.
Thank you. Councilmember Smith.
Yeah, just to follow up on a report that Councilwoman Draper made on the COC. In addition, there was a vote to move the administrative role over to the Butte County, which I think everyone has agreed that that's a good move moving forward for the continuum of care, in that the workload is tremendously grown. And so the community action is no longer able to really fulfill that role. So they're going to be the lead agency, COC lead agency, the collaborative applicant, and the HMIS lead agency for the COC moving forward. And also I think it just bodes well for Oroville, given that the county has I think a more holistic view as a general rule in its approach. So I just think overall it's a good thing, and I'm glad to see that. Additionally, I attended last night's first meeting. It's in the front page of the newspaper today, for the new Joint Energy Council. And given that we're considering at some point in the future to participate in that, I think it's important to kind of keep an eye on that. And you can read all about it in the front page of the Mercury Register. Another piece I'd given, we just had a new Explore Butte County. This is a piece that the EBC has put out, and it's a visitor's guide for Butte County. And we have a piece in here that talks about our museums, which we're very, very grateful to our docents. They do a wonderful job. And Michelle Kahn contributed to this, and I'd just like to read what she said about our museums. The city of Oroville is uniquely museum-rich. 7 museums lie within walking distance of the historic downtown. Each of the 7 reflect a special facet of our history. Chinese, gold, pioneers, innovators, founding families, natural history, tools, and more. Tools, yes, indeed. Oroville is truly a city of golden treasures. Michelle Kahn, museum docent. So thank you for that contribution. And these are just wonderful pieces, and you can get them around town, including right next door. That being said, I do, and I'll probably just hold off on this, I would like to add something to next council, to the agenda. Should I do that now, or should I wait, Mr. Mayor?
We'll do that at the
Okay.
agenda. Positions, please. Thank you. Councilmember Pittman.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind of all, if you didn't get the word out, but tomorrow morning, 8:45, if you'd like to attend the Oroville Dam Citizens Advisory Commission, they'll be doing a site tour on top of the Oroville Dam. 8:45, you'll be in the Spillway parking lot. And then after that, at 10:30, we're going to move down to the Southside Community Center to finish out the regular part of the meeting. So anyone wants to get up early. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, I got a couple things. Was in the Veterans Day Parade with quite a few council members. Appreciate that. Yesterday, we cut the ribbon at the Highway 70 widening addition, Phase 1. Happy to see that road safer for that first part. Second phase is going into effect immediately. And then let's see, I think I'm going to go ahead and, since you guys are aware of my son in the Navy, he's graduating next week, and being there only a week and a half, they promoted him to recruit chief petty officer, which means he's the highest ranked recruit on the base. After a week, and he was there a week and a half, they pinned him with a gold anchor and gave him quite a substantial monetary bonus for his performance. So really proud of him, really proud of all the kids. Thank you. So we'll be flying to Chicago to watch him graduate, and he will be leading his division. So really excited about that. Thank you, all of you, for being part of that. So being there are no other comments, future agenda items, Councilmember Smith.
This has to do, again, with museums. What I'd like to do is put on the agenda to consider having a free 2 days. Would be, this next year is going to be a leap year, so February 29th and March 1st. Explore Butte County is going to be promoting what they call a museum week. And the proposed potential budget's about $20,000 that Explore Butte County is going to spend marketing and promoting our area. So I think it would behoove us as a city to jump on board with that concept and allow for that. But anyway, probably too much information. But so I'd like to get that on the agenda for the next time around to consider that.
Anyone else? Administration reports. Tom?
Very quickly, we will be coming back to council with a proposal to update the municipal services review, which we have to do with the Local Agency Formation Commission to annex property. So it's a process we have to go through. We have to get proposals. We'll come back to council. And then you mentioned Highway 70. I don't know if everybody's aware of the fact the governor has exclaimed different priorities for the use of that roadway money. In Butte County, we're okay, but in Yuba County, maybe not. trying to move it to multimodal transportation versus road improvements. Just information.
Thank you. Bill?
Mr. Mayor, I've handed out a letter that was requested at the last council meeting to be sent to FERC in support of issuing of the license. What I would like the council to do is have an opportunity to review that for the next 2 weeks and then add your thought, and I'll bring it back as an agenda item so you can add your thoughts. We'll finalize the letter, and should the council decide to send it, we'll take that action at that time. But just want to give you some time to review that. It was prepared by our SBF coordinator, Jordan Daly. But we also want to make sure that it encapsulates your thoughts and opinions on this. There's been a lot going on in the city. We've been submitting several grant applications. We've requested $500,000 for generators for critical public facilities in the city from Cal OES, which was part of Governor Newsom's PSPS response. We also have submitted a grant for Prop 68 grant for our walkway along the Feather River corridor. It includes some Portland loos and things like that. If those come through, that'll be great. We're currently working on, I believe it's 3 affordable housing projects. If anybody hasn't seen it, Sierra Heights is actually out of the ground now. You can see the buildings going up as you go past Mike's Grande Burger. We're working with the veterans on an affordable housing project at the back of the corporation yard. We are also working with another developer on a site in Thermalito. So we have several of those going in. We also have another subdivision that's gone active, and I think Leo can, Mr. DiPaolo can fill you in more on that over in the Thermalito area. So we're going to see some more building in that area. So a lot of good things have been going on. And just two other things to close out. I used to love it when Don would say that. Just one more thing, because it went on 45 minutes after that. The next week, I will not be here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I will be available via email or phone if you need to get a hold of me or you want something. I'm not out of the area, but I will be around. The other thing I just wanted to say is next week is Thanksgiving. I wanted to thank you as a council for the opportunities that you've given me. I appreciate every single one of you. You have pushed me to do more than I ever thought I could and to be a better person. So thank you. I do appreciate that. I want to thank everybody in Oroville for having the opportunity to work here and to work for you and to serve the citizens of Oroville. I'm very greatly appreciated. I've been blessed in so many ways in my life, and probably the biggest blessing, beyond my family, is the blessing I have of working in this community.
Well, thank you, Bill. We're blessed to have you. Ruth, just in time. Nothing? Sam? Nothing. Thank you. Leo?
With regard to what Bill was mentioning, the Vista Del Oro has gotten their administrative approval for their job trailer out there and their sales trailer, so they're going to move forward on that, and they're starting to should be rolling that out any time there. Additionally, Chipotle got all their files; they'll be opening tomorrow, and KFC got their files today and should be opening sometime soon. So those will all come around finally. So moving along.
Thank you. Chief?
The previous council meetings, there's been a large group from the trailer park over there behind CVS. I just wanted to make sure that the council was aware. We had our first neighborhood watch meeting there last week. Very well attended. I'd say probably 20 to 30 individuals in there. Oroville Police Department was represented there as well. They got a long road, but I think they're going in the right direction. Last thing is our POP team that we've been talking about. All of those police employees have been identified who are going to be on that team. We just also got a long road before we'll be able to put them all in there, but we're moving forward with that as well.
Thank you. All right. Well, with that, we...
One more comment I'd like to add.
Councilmember Pittman.
And I appreciate that letter. One of the things I would like to add to the last SBF meeting had some real excellent reports on the performance of all the grants in terms of pictures and PowerPoints and from all the grants that are out there. It might be nice to add a summary of those to FERC so they understand that the SBF is alive and well and producing, and with the thought being that, as an example, this is what we're doing, and I don't know if you all were at the SBF meeting, but we've got some great projects moving forward between Nelson Avenue Pool, the trail, the State Theater, the aquatic park. I mean, there's some really good stuff happening. It might be nice to add that to this letter as an appendix so that they can see that, yeah, by the way, you're holding us up. We could do a lot better if you let us go.
I will ask Ms. Daly to include those.
Yeah.
Thank you. With that, we will adjourn the meeting. Next meeting will be December 3rd, 2019 at 5:30 PM.
Cool. And, power's going off